Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. I am your host today, Brandy. I'm here with Coach Gracie and Coach Caden today. How are you guys?
I'm good.
Good? You're both fresh from vacation, both looking tan. How was vacation time?
Vacation was good. It's always nice to, kind of take a step back, relax, refresh, then you come back and you're like, okay, I'm ready to hit the ground running again.
Yeah. How about you, Caden?
Feels good to be back in the gym.
Yeah, back in the saddle, working hard.
Always.
Do you guys train when you're on vacation?
I do, yeah.
Yeah? Do you, Caden?
Yeah, I didn't miss a day.
Didn't miss a day. I'm the same way. When I go on vacation.
Take my travel days off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Travel days off, but still train. I feel like I get really good training sessions on vacation because, it's like you've got the whole day ahead of you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I just like to do it because I feel like it sets my day up. It's like one of those things you kind of got to keep your routine in some way, shape, and form. Yeah.
That is not what our podcast is about today, but I feel like we should do a podcast about that in the future. While on vacation, maintaining your training schedule. But I'm glad you're both back. Missed you while you were out. So before we jump into our topic today, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our members. So we're going to talk about Doug Sash today. I think Doug has been a client of the week before, but just want to give Doug a shout out. He's here working hard every day last week. Last week was kind of a slower week for some people traveling and on vacation. And Doug was here training hard every single day with a smile on his face, like working really hard. And I know that he's planning to be here this week as well. So shout out to Doug. You're doing awesome. And I just want to say too, Doug, the transformation that Doug has had it's been about a year since he's been training with us. And he has had some amazing progress over the year. And I just want to say, Doug, you're killing it. Keep it up.
Good job, Doug.
Anything else to say?
I think you covered it pretty well. He always comes in here, smile on his face, ready to go. He always stays a little bit longer and does his thing. But yeah, he always smile on his face and always working hard. So good job, Doug. We're proud of you.
Awesome. All right. So let's jump into our topic today. So it's the end of the year. We're about to start a brand new year. So I think we wanted to talk about resolutions today and whether or not resolutions are sustainable. So I'm curious, do either of you set a New Year's resolution?
So I personally don't set anything on New Year's per se, but I definitely have goals that I end up setting throughout the year. And once I achieve one, there's a new goal set right after that.
All right. What about you, Gracie?
I would say I'm pretty similar. Maybe every once in a while on New Year's, I'm like, oh, I'm going to read 5 books this year or something kind of that's like, if it doesn't happen, it's not like a huge deal to me, but just something fun, something exciting. But at the same time, I like to set goals throughout the year. Once I hit them, it's like, okay, let's set a new goal. Let's make more progress. Like, can I keep moving forward? So that's kind of how I am, same way as Caden.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of the same too. I don't really set a New Year's resolution, but I kind of use like the end of the year and the beginning of the new year to kind of reflect on the previous year and think about, the upcoming year is kind of a fresh slate and, what are little goals that I want to set for myself or things that I want to accomplish during the year, but wouldn't say I necessarily set a resolution per se. So in preparation for the podcast, I was curious, about resolutions. And I found, so researchers have shown that, or suggest that only 9% of Americans that set a New Year's resolution actually stick to their New Year's resolution for the entire year. So 9% of people stick to them. Is that a surprise to either of you?
I feel like it's kind of a crazy statistic, but then I think about it and it's like, no, I'm actually not surprised.
Yeah.
I feel like people a lot of the time set too big of goals or too big of resolutions and then you can't achieve them and so then you get stressed out or whatever and then so I mean like good for those people that
right.
9% who achieve those goals but I'm really not that surprised
yeah
that
so
it's that
9%
low.
I also thought this was interesting. 23% of people quit whatever their New Year's resolution was that they had set out to achieve by the end of week 1.
I thought you were going to say January, and I was like, okay, a month.
So 23% quit by the end of the first week. 43% of people that set a New Year's resolution quit their New Year's resolutions by the end of January. So
Wow.
almost half the people that set New Year's resolutions have already are not sticking to them by the end of January. Surprising?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like going back to my point, like people just set such big goals that it's like, okay, how can you realistically maintain it? So I'm kind of not surprised that many people, fall off and just, I don't know, go back to their old habits or whatever that was.
Right. And I think, what you said about the resolutions being too big of a goal, I think that's another thing that researchers have found, that oftentimes when someone sets a New Year's resolution, it's this big, audacious, like they want to change everything. Like they want to eat better. They want to start working out. They want to be, healthier. And so they make all of these changes, or plan to make all of these changes at one time, and it's just too overwhelming to stick to that. The other thing that researchers found is that people oftentimes will have like a big goal or big resolution that they want to set, but then they don't have a plan for implementing it. So they're not, scheduling it or coming up with like day-to-day activities that will move them toward progress of achieving that goal. So those were kind of two reasons as to why people didn't complete their New Year's resolutions, and then not thinking about obstacles that might come into play, and how to kind of manage around those obstacles that might come into play. So I wouldn't necessarily say resolutions are toxic. It can be a good tool for people, but I think to really achieve, those goals or those resolutions that you set for yourself, it's going to be more helpful to come up with small, kind of bite-sized habits or things that you can accomplish on a smaller scale, and then work toward kind of that bigger goal. So what are your guys' thoughts on, if it's not a resolution that you set, what can people do that can be successful?
I think, like you said, taking those smaller steps, because, a lot of people, they have that big goal, they forget to plan out how they're going to achieve that goal. So I think just starting, from square one and saying okay, if I do have this really big goal, that's great and that's awesome, and I hope you can get there, but take a step back, backtrack. How can I get there? What are the steps that I need to take? So maybe your goal this year is just to complete step 1. Maybe next year it's step 2. So just finding those small little ways that you can work on progress, because I think, as long as you're progressing and as long as you're moving forward, I think that's the most important thing.
That's awesome. Great advice, Gracie. Kaden, what tips would you give someone?
I guess one of my biggest tips is I would say find someone that's going to be willing to hold you accountable. I'm going to say a lot of people are afraid to say certain things in life or just kind of avoid the conversation. I'm going to say if you set your goals, find a friend, husband, wife, don't matter, get yourself a trainer, come see us over here, and have that person, I'm going to say, talk to you week over week about it, because that way that plan can be adjusted based off of how you're feeling. That would be my biggest advice. Find someone to hold you accountable if you're not able to do it yourself.
Yeah, that's good advice as well. And what would you say to someone who doesn't really know where to start?
I think you just kind of have to ask them, what big things do you want to achieve? And from there, you can work with them on their way backwards. Because I think everyone has big goals in their head, but they don't have those little goals to get them there. So, maybe you need to work with someone, whether that's a coach or whatever, but just someone who can help you step by step, like Kaden said, that accountability partner, but maybe that accountability partner is also going to, coach you through it.
Yeah, finding a coach is awesome. Breaking that big goal up into smaller pieces, thinking about, day by day, what can I do tomorrow or what can I do today that can move me, one step closer to that goal that I want to achieve. So if it's a workout related, what can I do in 30 minutes today that's going to move me toward this goal? If it's nutrition related, what's one habit I can change regarding nutrition that I can work on for this week and master that, and then maybe next week move on to one more thing rather than trying to change everything all at once. I also think it's important to think about your environment and to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. So having the accountability coach is that's great. And then also, if it's a workout related, making sure that you have your gym clothes like ready to go. So you grab that bag with you when you leave for work in the morning, and, just make it easier on yourself to make it to the gym when you get off work, to do your grocery shopping if it's a nutrition related goal ahead of like at the beginning of the week. And then you have what you need in the house so that you can be successful with those daily habits that you set up. If your goal is to drink more water, carry a water bottle around with you. So making sure you have what you need in place so that you are successful in whatever it is that you want to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. One step at a time, it's progress, not perfection. I like to say, like 1% better every single day. And however you can do that, I think everyone's able to achieve that. So just be careful of, not setting your goals too big.
Yep. I think that's great advice. And to be easy on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't, if you have something in mind that you want to achieve and you don't achieve it one day, be easy on yourself and think, okay, there's always tomorrow. Like refocus, and then you didn't get it today. Let's go after it tomorrow. Yeah. Anything else, Kaden, that you want to add? Tips or advice around setting goals or achieving success?
No, I don't think so. But kind of going off of what Gracie just said, that 1% every day for all you investors out there at the end of the year, that's a 365% return. And if that's not good enough for you, well, you should probably get out of investing.
I love it. I think that's awesome advice. Let's go ahead and end with that. Let's get 1% better every day. All right. Everyone can do that, right? 1% better a day.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Let's go after it. It's going to be a great year, everyone. Set those daily habits and go out there and achieve them. All right. That's going to do it for us today. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Healthy Living Scottsdale podcast. Do you have a question that you'd like for us to answer live on the podcast? If so, all you need to do is head over to the Apple Podcast app on your iPhone and do 3 simple things. First, leave us a rating and review telling me what you think of the podcast. In that review, ask anything you want related to health, fitness, or nutrition. And if you want a shout out, leave us your Instagram handle or name. That's all you have to do. Then listen to hear your questions answered live on the next Q&A episode.